Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 64th episode of the Stateside Report UK. I'm your host, Stateside Gab, in the building. Joining me today, as always, Mr. OKC. His team went in the NBA Cup, no problem. Mr.
We don't need that. We don't need it. We take it how we get it, but we don't need it. You know what I mean?
Stateside Humph. How are we?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. You know what I mean? My team, Arsenal, just about got the 3 points. OKC, like you said, we lost in the NBA Cup semi-finals. And when we get to these big stages, all of a sudden, no one can make a 3-point shot. And my Green Bay Packers, we were doing so well against the Broncos.
Oh, dear.
And if whoever's watched Game of Thrones and you know about the Red Wedding, everything came crashing down like that. ACL injury, collarbone broke, bro.
It's tough out here, man. You
So
know?
I just slowly but surely just watched the Super Bowl just slip from my fingers.
Yeah, you just see everything start domino effect, and you're like,
Bruv, in the worst way possible.
yeah, you're like, this might
The
not be
worst way possible.
tough, you know.
But we got J Love. We got J Love in the pocket anyway, so it's calm.
You know, not everybody can have T-Lo in the pocket. Not everyone can be the Jackson. Not everyone can be a division leader.
Did you lot win again?
The Jets.
Oh yeah. Of course,
Easy.
of course,
Come on,
of
man.
course.
Cash
You
money
did,
in the
you
bag.
did,
Put the
you
fries
did.
in the bag. It's easy. You know, we're facing Denver next week, so don't worry. We'll show you.
Bro, Bo Nix. I don't know if all of a sudden he just chose to have his career game against the Packers, but he had a good game, man.
Yeah,
Well, it's
I'm worried about
12-2.
that defense. I'm worried about that defense that we have to face.
Yeah, man,
next
their
week.
defense is legit,
Yeah, serious. You know.
but can't complain too much, man. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
we're all good.
Regardless, we're a basketball podcast, so how about we get straight into it? Let's do some headlines that's doing the rounds in the NBA at the minute. Adam Silver has said the league will decide in 2026 whether to add 2 teams. Las Vegas and Seattle are the most likely expansion cities. Cooper Flagg becomes the first 18-year-old in NBA history to record a 40-point plus game. And a Qatari fund, a private equity firm, is looking to buy a majority stake in the Washington Wizards. Now, Stateside Humph, before we get into the big news, I know New York fans, I get it, I understand. Just wait your turn, just wait. We're coming.
Go New York, go New York, go.
We're coming. I
Hang
promise.
the banner. Put your shade to the side and hang
What are you
the
doing?
flipping banner.
We're gonna get into that very, very shortly.
You are,
Trust
man.
me.
Hang the-
Trust me.
Bro,
Ridiculous. Very quickly, let's get some reactions to the news that's doing the rounds at the minute. Expansion, you know, Stateside. If I remember, we spoke with Kwaku not that long ago, and we were like, expansion's on the horizon. There's too many players, really good players, that unfortunately, for one reason or another, just ain't in the league. You know, there's not enough spots. G League getting a bit crowded as well. You know, and I'd like to think Stateside Humph that, hey, Seattle, Vegas, hey, whatever else you want to say. I don't know, Kansas City, get involved as well if you like. But expansion, hey, I'm all here for it. Me personally, I'd like to think the same for you as well.
nah.
Oh,
I don't like change, man. I don't like change. You know what I mean, I like what we got. Do you know what I mean? It's like what the last change that was made was OKC moving from Seattle to Oklahoma, right?
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what 2008.
In an alternate universe, you are Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Supersonics. Yeah, you're a fan of them.
But we're not. I mean, we win stuff. They don't. No, I'm joking. Let me know. They paved the way and all of that.
You know what I mean? They got to the finals. They faced MJ, all that. You know.
But they lost. That's the difference. They want to do Gary Payne and all of that. Get them out of here, man. But I'm just saying, I don't particularly like change too much in that sense. You know what I mean? I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because then how many teams do you really end up having in the NBA? Do you know what I mean? 15 is enough. You know what I mean? Half of them are tanking to get a high draft picks anyway. So if you're bringing in more teams, then you have to almost look at how to make as many teams as possible contending or like competing. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want to bring more teams into the league, but then more teams are now tanking to try and get higher draft picks. You know what I mean? It has to benefit the league in terms of the quality of basketball, obviously the quality of fandomship as well. I don't know if that's a real word, but I just threw it out there. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, sounds right. Sounds about right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just half the teams are tanking for AJ DeBunter and all of these lot anyway. I don't want us to bring 2 more teams in and then you add them onto the list of teams that are trying to tank, that are trying to, lose purposely to to gain higher draft picks. That's where my problem really lies in all of this. But really and truly, this is my initial reaction because I didn't really hear the news until obviously I've just looked at the call sheet. So that's my initial reaction to it.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't mind a bit of change. I don't mind a bit of shake up, me personally. And two new teams, I can imagine an expansion draft will get very feisty because you like to think, the NBA teams are going to be able to keep certain players, a certain amount of players. Some people are going to be thrown into the expansion team. So it's going to be like, oh, why did OKC let this fella go? Why did Golden State let that fella go? You know what I mean? No. So I think that, along with all the storylines that it could bring and just bringing in some more talent into the league, I'm not angry at it, personally. So we'll see, obviously, when 2026 does arrive, how much steam that picks it on. Because if Adam Silver says it, then, there might be some smoke where there's fire, if you know what I mean. Cooper Flag, first 18-year-old to record a 40-point game. 42 points against the Jazz, by the way, and it'll be really quick. This was this. I don't much to say on it. They've moved him. He's not point guard anymore. And look what's happening. Do you know what I mean? I understand that he started, the season relatively slower because they were playing him out of position, and I said it wasn't going to work, and it wasn't. However, as the season has, slowly trickled along, he's starting to find his feet, and this 40-point explosion, I know it's only the Jazz. I understand. I get it. However, fair dues to Cooper Flag because he's starting to figure it out a little bit in his rookie season. He's starting to look like the Cooper Flag that was the, unanimous favourite for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, no, 100%. I really like Cooper Flag. Obviously, you hopped on the fact that he should not be playing as point guard. You know what I mean, play him off the ball, and you're seeing where his strengths are when he plays off the ball, when he catches and drives, when he catches and shoots, when he catches and play makes off of that. You know what I mean, he's more instinctive than putting the ball in his hands and letting him try and decipher NBA defenses when he's just got into the league. Do you know what I mean? That was putting a lot of pressure. That was putting a lot of responsibility on him too quickly. I don't know if they thought, because another 6'8" white guy. I mean, maybe just a Lucas sort of thing, but they're two completely different players. Do you know what I mean? So it was a good change that Jason Kidd done, getting him off the ball, and now you're seeing his strengths. Now you're seeing him score a little bit more, play make a little bit more, and like I said, the numbers are looking more prettier, and it's generating some wins for the Mavericks as well. Defensive side of the ball as well. He does have that. He can lean on that as well. So you're seeing his overall bag work, as the kids call it. So shout out to Cooper Flag. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it keeps going on well for him. But yeah, I like his game a lot.
I do as well. I do. And like I said, it's not that I didn't think he could necessarily do it or morph into that one day. Maybe he can be sort of this, secondary ball handler, maybe primary ball handler one day. But I just thought rookie season, if you're trying to just get his feet wet, let him lean on his strengths and lean on what he's good at. Don't let him have to learn what it is to be an NBA player whilst learning a new position, whilst helping everybody else get involved in the game as well. I think that's too much pressure to be putting on an 18-year-old. And like you said, putting him off the ball, is actually showing a lot of his scoring flashes, defensive flashes. It's helping him out a lot. So shout out to the Mavericks for actually making that change. Maybe it'll lead to a few more wins because God knows they need it.
Facts.
And this is very interesting. I just saw this today, funny enough. Do you know who is one of the majority owners for the Washington Wizards? The wife, or the now widowed wife, I don't know if she's still seeing anyone, I don't know, maybe she is, of Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah,
No way.
man, the Apple fella. Yeah,
what? Wait, she's got a share in the
in
Wizards.
the Washington Wizards. I believe the Mystics as well, the hockey team as well. She's Washingtoned out, basically.
Fair play.
However, Qatari, we are football heads first, and we understand when foreign investment has to come in, your ears will perk up a little bit because the finances that they're gonna throw in front of you, it's gonna be serious.
The checks are handsome.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So if the talks start to, I guess, become much more real and become bigger, and the zeros start to get a little bit, hello. I'm just saying, Washington fans, should they be a little bit excited in regards to what's coming? Because you think of what Washington's supposed to be, one of the bigger markets, supposed to be the capital of the nation as well. It's kind of a sleeper giant in terms of how big the market can really be with the right people involved with, the association. So I'd like to think that I can't think of too many teams, if any, that have any sort of Middle Eastern investment in the NBA. So it could be very much a first. However, it bodes very well if this is done correctly, does it not?
I mean, maybe it's first of many. I mean, this is something that I'm not too clued up on, so I'm not gonna sit here and try and give you a whole lot of waffle. But I'm just trying to wonder, maybe ask you the question, like bringing in Qatari ownership and stuff like that in basketball. How can it how can it benefit a team? You know what I mean? Because obviously with football, with transfers and stuff like that, buying players, selling players, all of that stuff, I understand. But with basketball, obviously you're looking at it more so in like terms of like trades and draft picks. So I don't know if you're looking at it in terms of what paying off the players in terms of like their wages and stuff, how that can help what building new arenas. Like, talk to me. How does it benefit
I think there's
a
a lot of
basketball team?
things. I did a very quick Google search, and the only Middle Eastern, so UAE, Qatari
Mm.
investment is, fun fact, it's actually with the Washington Wizards. They have a 5% stake in the franchise, and obviously they're looking to make that bigger because I think they understand the growth potential that is there. And they have little sponsorships here and there with the Celtics and the Knicks as well, from what it looks like. However, I think the main thing that they should be very much interested in is things like you said, actually, that you just touched on there. They won't be, and we see it in football. We've seen it with the likes of Manchester City and PSG. When there's opportunity in front of them, them man don't play. So if
Nope.
it comes to building, new arenas so they can bring fans in seats, they just seen what the Clippers have done. Maybe not success on the court. However, you can see what it's doing, for the bank balance and how it looks in the media and everything else. And Steve Ballmer, and that with their new arena, it's great. It's amazing. I'd like to think the Qatari and the Middle Eastern market will be all over things like that. I'd like to think as well that you see with people like Steve Ballmer and the richer owners in the NBA, they're not scared to become that second apron team, that luxury tax team, especially when it comes to, we think our team is close to winning a championship and it requires a little bit of money to spend. Yeah, no problem. We're going to do that. We've seen with the likes of, like we said, in football, we've seen the likes of PSG, Manchester City, other teams as well, not scared to make money, especially when they see a window of opportunity to actually win a trophy, because only God knows that what that can do in terms of, your own stock and your team stock and everything. That's just more money in everybody's pocket. So I'd like to think that put these kind of people in that, Washington situation, which, like I said before, is a sleeping giant in terms of how big the market can really be. There's a team that's somewhere crying out for an explosion in Washington, whether it be the Commanders, whether it be the Wizards, whether it be the hockey team, whether it be the WNBA team. Somebody needs to, be the forefront, the face of Washington sports. And I think that's just such an intriguing project that you could just throw at somebody that has a load of money, that wants to spend it, that's very willing to spend it as well, and be like, yeah, Washington, I can make this my own. So I'd like to think that this investment has to be something good. Has to be. I understand there's some political stuff that I won't get into today because I'm not even the political head that some people are. But just from a pure business basketball standpoint, with the correct people involved, of course, I see it as a no-brainer. Me personally, though.
I mean, and to be fair, that does make sense, and I feel like the basketball as well, and the performance on the court has to match with that. I mean, it has to, because you can't have one without each other, or without the other one. Do you know what I mean? So if you're getting all of this good investment from the Qatari and stuff, your Wizards basketball, Washington basketball, or sports in general has to have some sort of uptick in sort of performance. Do you know what I mean? For it to really take off and for it to I guess be a match made in heaven, if you want to look at it that way.
I'm saying, whatever they've been doing, it's not been working as it. So, if somebody wants to come in and change the fortunes of that franchise, then
Yeah.
hey, and have a lot of money to do it and not be scared to spend it, I don't see that as a bad thing, personally. Let's get into the meat and drink of what we're here to talk about.
Meat and potatoes.
Yes, matey, yes. The steak and chips, all of that, you know. Because in New York, I don't know what the prime cut of steak is in New York, but they're eating.
Right.
They're
Facts.
eating right now. Hey,
Facts.
huge win over the San Antonio Spurs to win the NBA Cup, the first trophy to land in MSG in, I couldn't even tell you.
Good. 74, 73, something
Yikes.
like that.
What Frazier and them, man. Crazy times. Of course, shout out to the San Antonio Spurs. We're going to look at both sides of the coin in just a moment, but we have to start with, of course, the newly appointed champions. Stateside Humph, you saw a little bit of this game, especially the end of it.
I watched most of it, to be fair.
You know what? Because I'll go first in regards to I had to watch the highlights just because I've been a busy boy.
Yeah.
As of recently, didn't get to watch the game, didn't get to watch it. But from what I saw, I was very impressed in regards to team effort in what I was seeing from the New York Knicks. I think from what I was seeing before in regards to the teams when they've hit the playoffs and they've had Tibbs, it's always been cool. Our stars need to take us there. So there was a lot of pressure in regards to Jalen Brunson. You need to be the guy. Karl Anthony Towns, you need to be the guy. However, just looking at the box score, just looking at the highlights, just seeing what Jalen Brunson said at the end of the game as well. The people like your OGs, the people like your Tyler Kolex, who's been, a really good player for them this year, especially in this cup run as well. Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robertson. They have another backup pick. I can't remember his name. It begins with a K. Koliki, something like that. These are all the players that you need in regards to win, especially in today's day and age of basketball. You've just seen the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers have a 7-game series off the strength of their depth. They have their star players, of course. However, their depth has been, the driving factors in them obviously making playoff runs. In your team, of course, making going all the way and winning the finals. So that's the thing that really, really screamed out at me, and that's what I knew that Mike Brown was gonna install and bring. Yes, Jalen Brunson, you're the guy, and yes, you're gonna be the MVP of this whole thing. I get it. However, you need to bring your other guys along with you. And that's exactly what he's done. I was very impressed with the leadership intangibles that were shown by, the set leaders, the Jalen Brunsons, the Mac Browns, the people involved. And it was a good team effort from the lads. What do you say in regards to what the Knicks have shown you in their NBA Cup final run?
I love the Knicks. Do you know what I mean? I really like the Knicks. I like how they perform. They're very pesky. I mean, the Knicks are very pesky. They don't know when they're beaten. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of like an identity. Even before Mike Brown came in, obviously with Coach Tibbs as well, they just grind out results. They just chip away even when they're down. You saw with the first 2 games of the Eastern Conference semifinals against Boston, in Boston as well, down 20 points both times, still found a way to just chip away, get it to a tie game. Then obviously they're in the ascendancy. You know what I mean? They're confident, and then when you have Jaylen Brown, we have big shot makers like OG. When you have big shot makers like Cat, Bridges as well, they will find you a way to win. Josh Hart as well with his playmaking defensively, offensively as well. Saw that last night with a big 3 to I think push it up to like 8. You know what I mean, just it's a very, very good team. And to be fair, I've seen the trend with this NBA Cup thing. The very first time it's a very young Indiana Pacers team with Halliburton, the experienced team, and the Lakers, they beat them convincingly as well. I mean, in the second time round, OKC Bucks being the more experienced team with Giannis and Dame and Brook Lopez, and they beat a very young OKC team. I mean, because in a one-off game as well. You know what I mean? And obviously this third time round, a promising young Spurs team who knocked off OKC in that one-off game. But then obviously when you come up against an experienced Knicks team, you know what I mean? Like I said, players that have been in these sort of playoff-like environments, because there's really no other way outside of the playoffs that you can simulate this level of like intensity and this level of like basketball play. That's where you really see who's really made of it. You know what I mean? When the lights are bright, you see with Harrison Barnes as well. They're saying that he was playing like 2016 Harrison Barnes. You know what I mean? That's why they had to get him out of there. Because
So I got him out as Sacramento, by the way.
Bro, against OKC, he shot like 6 from 3, and all 6 of them wide open. No one was there. So it's like in these type of situations where it's playoff-like environment, playoff-like intensity, you see who's really made of it. You know what I mean? But then obviously, you can tell more often than not, the experienced team, they're the ones that come out on top. You know what I mean? Obviously, when you have the best player in Jaylen Brown as well. I'm sorry, in Brunson, I always get those two mixed up. In Brunson as well. Wemby done really well against the Thunder. You know what I mean? But then you can see that he does have his shortcomings. He did mention something about, having like a pass in the family. So obviously praise up to him. But
absolutely,
in terms of like keeping on the basketball court, there is still a long way to go for not just him, but the San Antonio Spurs. But if you want to keep it to the Knicks, great win, great pesky win as well. Do you know what I mean? There's just, it overall embodies Knicks basketball. But all I'm saying is, don't be too bougie. You know what I mean? Hang up that banner. Because there's no other banner that you're going to hang up in June. If you think you're getting a banner in June, you're mistaken. So hang up this banner right now.
I have to go with you with what you're saying. Definitely in regards to the banner, by the way. Hang that up. Don't be too bougie now. You're not too good. If the Lakers can do it, you can do it as well. Do you know what I mean? But I do want to stick with the Knicks in regards to I was one of these guys that was saying when I look at the Eastern Conference and the landscape of it, for me, I always saw the Knicks as a standout team. Let's just say, for lack of better words, the best team in the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
And that the Pistons are up there and they're first, definitely 100% in the Eastern Conference, no question. However, just that turn in terms of that blend of experience, being there in big moments, just like you saw in that cup final versus the Spurs. That for me, those kind of performances with the team that they have, the depth that's in their roster, hey man, they the best to me. And question for you, Stateside Tom, that just popped into my head now. With all the stars that are disgruntled, unhappy, and seeing the performance that they just put in regards to what they did to the Spurs in the cup final, do you think they still need something else to even push them further, give them a chance against the better teams in the West? Or if you're one of their front office people, are you like, let's hold fire on a trade, lads? Let's stick with what we have, because what we have is the conference best, the best option that we have to go against the best teams in the West. What side of the fence are you sitting on?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I've asked a couple of Knicks fans on my live where I'm like, your team's playing so well. Do you know what I mean? Like you're there or thereabouts in terms of conference finals, couple games away. Do you add more in terms of do you get Giannis? Because that really is the topic of conversation over there. And most of the Knicks fans are like, yes, get Giannis in. I mean, that's a guaranteed ticket to the finals. We might even end up being an OKC or Denver, whoever ends up coming out of the West. So if I'm the Knicks, again, like I said, I hate change too much. So if you're asking me personally, I'd say I'm gonna keep what we have. I'm gonna see the players that we had last year with, in my opinion, a better coach suited for this system. I think he can take us to the finals, and then obviously in the finals, I guess you could say it's anyone's game at that point, or you give yourself a good chance if you're the Knicks to win. But again, the whole Giannis thing, bro. If you can get if Giannis comes knocking, most teams are not going to open, are not going to open, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So if you're the Knicks, you're kind of caught in a little bit of an awkward one there, because you can see when you get into this type of situation, you definitely have a team well equipped enough to win. But if, like I said, if Giannis is there, snap him up. You know what I mean? Obviously, you don't want to gut your team. You don't want to compromise the depth that you have for a player like Giannis. But it just begs the question: is he worth it? You know what I mean? Is he going to get you over the top? But we'll have to wait and see.
We will indeed. Shout out to Jordan Clarkson as well. I forgot about him. I like the way he was playing.
Microwave scorer. He came off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bench and locked in,
yeah. Like I don't
bro.
mind it. I don't mind it. By the way,
Yeah,
we might have to do an updated. I keep getting yearly roundups of things that we did from when the podcast started, and it brings
I
back memories.
saw. Yeah,
Yeah, it brings back memories of when I see it. We might have to do some updated versions of some of those Wednesdays on.
my takes have not gotten any better.
You big
My
yikes.
takes have not gotten any better. Good God.
Oh gosh,
Wow.
let's briefly go to the Spurs side of things as well. Commiserations. Unlucky, like you said as well. Wemby obviously was going through some family situations as well. So prayers up to him, and hopefully everything goes up and is better for him moving forwards. What were you? I guess what's your feeling after the fact that they have lost, unfortunately? Yes. However, I did like what a lot of their players and their coaches were saying. De'Aaron Fox, namely, he was speaking about teams that usually get to or show that they can get far in this NBA Cup. That bodes well for the postseason. That shows that look, when push comes to shove, put us in pressurized situations, put us in the playoff environment, then we can come up trumps and now we can at least compete with the best teams in the West, in the NBA. So from hearing that and from seeing what you've seen from the San Antonio Spurs, I guess the question I have for you is: were you impressed with what you were looking at?
I was impressed with what I was impressed with what I was looking at, because the main thing I was looking at with the Spurs was the attitude into going to these type of games, because obviously you are going to face an OKC team and possibly, to be fair, I had the Knicks coming out of the East matchup, so you're going to face two legit teams that both got to the conference finals last year, late at least. Do you know what I mean? The competition was going to be good. So it's like, what's your approach going to be? Are you going to come into it fearless? Are you going to show too much respect and end up getting bounced out? But it was the former. Do you know what I mean? They come into it very fearless. I really like the Spurs team with Wemby. Obviously, Wemby played both games with restricted minutes. Do you know what I mean? So I guess you don't want to make too. I don't want to. I don't want to do too much with it because he only played limited minutes. I mean, if Wemby was playing 35 to 40 minutes, then you might have seen a different San Antonio team. Do you know what I mean? You might have seen them possibly win the whole thing. But in terms of the attitude and how they face this OKC, because it's not easy to beat OKC. I mean, it's not, and there's no bias. And bro, we've lost 2 games this season, and both games of on 2 points. It's hard to beat this OKC team, but they've done it, and it was well deserved as well. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, this next team, they started off really well. I think they had like a double-digit lead as well. I mean, Wemby blocking shots, Wemby making tough shots. They 3 guard rotation with Dylan Harper, Fox, and Stefan Castle. Stefan Castle, I was watching him a lot in these past couple games. He's very good. He's very, very good. I like his game a lot. Defensively as well, he's got it there. Obviously, offensively with more game time that he plays, you see that refined on that end as well. But in as a whole, I like the Spurs team. They're going to be a problem in the playoffs. They would hope to get Wemby fully fit for the postseason. That's the only thing. I don't think they need to even care too much about standings. Just get Wemby fully fit. They'll get into the playoffs. You know what I mean, they'll get into the 4th to 6th range. At that point, if you're Wemby, you have a chance. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, I like their 3 guard lineup as well. So
If you're, because you touched on it there as well, this is a team that had to, knock you lots out the way to get to Vegas. Is this a team that, as currently constructed, because there could be trades that could happen there. I seen them linked to Giannis as well, which would be a very sensational trade. But as currently constructed, I want you to think about it, because you said just get a change. You said it yourself. Are you looking at them as an OKC fan? Are you looking at them as serious competition in regards to, if we meet them on the way to the NBA Finals, then we've got a serious series on our hands?
they'll definitely cause us problems. I think we'll still beat them in 6. Maybe no 6. We'll beat them in 6, but they'll cause us a lot of problems because, like I said, it's just they're very fearless. They go at anyone and everyone, and on certain nights as well, their guards, if their shots fall defensively as well, they will cause a team like an OKC problem because we like to drive the ball a lot, and their point of attack defense is good. But then if you beat them off the dribble, you've got Wemby as the last line of defense. Good luck trying to score against that consistently as well. You know what I mean? So the makeup of the Spurs team is very good in terms of the whole Giannis talk. Again, awkward situation because you're like, if we get Giannis in, who do we need to give up? You don't want to give us Stefan Castle. You watch a player like Dylan Harper, the guy playing like a 5 to 8 year vet in the league, and it's his rookie year as well. Do you want to give that up because his potential sky high? You know what I mean, and then you're looking at De'Aaron Fox as well. Without Fox, there's no way the Spurs team are 9 or 10-3 since Wemby was out. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you have great pieces, but then do you want to swing big? Do you know what I mean? If it's an awkward situation. Again, you're asking someone that don't really like too much change in terms of this sort of setting. So, but the Spurs are set up perfectly. They're set up perfectly. They will cause a lot of teams problems. I think they will at least win one series this coming postseason. I think the postseason is set up perfectly, and with the Spurs as well, no one would want to face them. No chance. But
I agree. Especially if Wemby is healthy. Yeah, you want to avoid that matchup
facts.
as expeditiously as possible. Where are they in the Western Conference? Only a game behind the 2nd seed. So the 4th seed, 18-7, just past the quarter mark of the season. So hey, of course you're naturally going to pay attention to what the Spurs are doing because Wemby is that good. But let's see in regards to how well equipped and suited they are to really facing the comp in the NBA, especially when it comes to playoff time. I've enjoyed the NBA Cup conversation. Like we said earlier, I wasn't too tapped in to the NBA Cup as well, I must say, but it's always, get me to the finals, get me to the game that really matters, and then you will lock in a little bit then. That's how it always is. I was with playoffs, I was with it, the bloody the World Cup that's coming. It's always like this, Stateside. I don't know.
Nah, I like the cup, man. I like the cup because it gives you a bit of a storyline. Because now they're talking about the Spurs and OKC being a little rivalry, but then everyone likes to overreact. You know what I mean, I'm
Overreact. It's
partial
no
to
reaction though.
but it's more so like they were like, oh, the Spurs, if the Spurs face OKC in a series, they'll beat them and this and other. But then they lose. But then they only scored 19 points in the fourth quarter to the Knicks, and then they lose. Now they're like, is this team too young? Do they still need? It's like, bro, it's one game. It's a one-off game. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Let's take what we can get from that game and just leave it. Let's not let's not do the most with it. But again, it's all storylines. You know what I mean? Oh, this team beat us in Vegas. Now they catch us in an NBA playoff situation. How is it gonna look like? Do you know what I mean? It's all storylines. Wemby talking about Chet in a certain way and this and the other. That's what. Hey, this is why we play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Hashtag this is why we play.
there we go.
So
You
it's
know?
it's one of them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Stateside Tomf. Shall we play a game?
Let's play a game, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Now, this one it's not, I've lied to you, it's not so much of a game. It's more of a discussion topic. I like having discussions with you from time to time. And funny enough, this comes from last week's episode of the Stateside UK. Go listen to that one if you haven't. Loads of stuff happening there. I think it was the episode we talked about CP3 getting cut, by the way. You see that man didn't go to his Halloween party, by the way. Oh, disgraceful.
What?
So he threw a Halloween party when he was still on the Clippers. Allegedly, none of them man went. They were all invited as well. Dark. They weren't messing with them. Oh man!
Wow,
bro! Imagine you in your Dracula costume. You're saying, yeah, the man them are pulling. Nah. Nobody's.
They've already set up a different group chat.
Yeah.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it, brother. You know.
Wow.
So shout out to CP3. He will land on his feet somewhere one of these.
Yeah, I don't know how much he shook the dressing room like that.
Bro, I didn't think it was that deep. I really didn't. But hey, the life, that's how it goes. I did want to speak to you about a topic we spoke about last week when we were talking about James Harden. ISO scoring. It was very interesting, just because I was thinking about it very hard, and I touched on it a little bit last week. And people always say that ISO scoring, it's not, how you win basketball. It's not what that game was made for. It's not a one-on-one game. It's 5-on-5, isn't it? However, I just find ISO scoring very interesting because you think about, the players that we see today, and Wemby is probably a very good example in regards to somebody who is a face of ISO scoring, if you like. A lot of their offenses give Wemby the ball, get out of the way. Do you know what I mean? He has to learn from a lot of people to get anything close to how good he is, today. So you think of, the people that he probably molded this game after. He's spoken about the likes of Kevin Durant and LeBron James, probably a little bit of James Harden there, Luka as well. You'd like to think he's taken a little bit of everything from everyone and obviously put his own little French va-va-voom on it. And I get that. I understand that. And this is beautiful to watch. People are, turning on the TV to watch Wemby score the ball, whether it's on the perimeter, whether it's inside, whatever it is. However, there's still this stigma around ISO scoring that if that's quote unquote all you can do, or if that's what you're known for at least, that you're not a winning player, or you're a foul baiter or whatever. People will just throw all these names at you that signify that this is not the kind of brand of basketball that we should be promoting in 2025. However, all the best NBA players of all time, all the best players in the NBA today are ISO scorers and have to learn from each other to get bits and pieces from each other to, push their team to championship ascendancy. So I don't understand the conversation or the narrative that ISO scoring should be, outlawed, or it should be put in a box, or it should be whatever the case is, whatever one terminology you want to say. I don't understand why ISO scoring gets the bad rap that it deserves. Now, maybe it's just me, Stacey, I don't know. But what do you think when you hear the word ISO scoring? What are the words or what are the feelings that you think of?
I mean, my MVP, you know what I mean? Number 2, he's one of the best ISO scorers ever. Do you know what I mean? And I watch him I watch Shea on a nightly basis. I'm like, ISO scoring is so important. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, when you think of ISO scoring as well, prime James Harden is what comes to mind. And I feel like James Harden's ISO scoring, as great as it was in the regular season, some parts of the postseason, the fact that he never won a championship with it, it's not because of his ISO scoring. It's just more so teams schemed them so well that he couldn't score as frequently as he did in the regular season. You know what I mean? The problem wasn't his ISO scoring. You know what I mean? Because it's like you can still win with that. You just have to try and get past this tough defense. You have to find a way, and he never found a way. I mean, there was no other way. You still have to put the ball in the basket. You know what I mean? Kobe won with ISO scoring. Jordan won with ISO scoring.
D Wade.
LeBron, D Wade won with ISO scoring. LeBron in 2012 when he come up against the Boston Celtics in Game 6, where I mean, if he lost that, I mean, obviously that was the year that he won his first finals against OKC. He'd need 45 points. ISO scoring, shooting from left shoulder, right shoulder, doing everything. ISO scoring. You need ISO scoring. You need it. You need it. So it's a matter of, can you get past the defense? They're gonna try and scheme you up to try and get the ball out of your hand. Can you still try and find a way to get buckets? You know what I mean, there's only so much that others can do. What can you, as the main guy, what can you do in terms of putting the ball in the basket? There's only so much defense can carry you as well in your team. If I want to relate it back to OKC, I mean, great defensive team, but some of these players, they can't really shoot the ball too well. You know what I mean, especially in high spots. When all else fails in Game 4, in Game 4 in Dallas, Shea ISO scoring gives you 30 points against Denver, against Indiana as well. You need your star players to put the ball in the basket. You need it. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you look at it with the next Brunson as well, you know what I mean? Like, it's important. It's just, I feel like people shone on ISO scoring, it kind of more so to do with how basketball is looked at nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's like, I don't know what perfect way people think you can win championship or you can win games by, if it's not through ISO scoring, if it's not through your best player putting the ball in the basket. I mean, Jokic as well, someone obviously that we praise for being a great playmaker. Some of the best Nuggets wins is where Jokic is giving you 35 plus points, 40 points, triple. Even if it's in a triple double, 35 points to 40 points. That's still a lot. That's still a lot of points. So there's no way I'm shunning on the idea of ISO scoring, because that's always been tried and proven to win you a lot of games, to win you championships, to win you playoff series, is part of NBA basketball, and it's not going to change anytime soon.
I agree with everything that you've said there. I think that, it's a little bit lazy to, you look at a player like Carmelo Anthony, just popped into my head now. He was obviously a classic, ISO scorer. And I really think that people need to give more, I guess, blame, you could say, for, his, I don't even want to say failures, but let's say, just use that word just for lack of better ones. In terms of actually winning the championship, you need to put a lot of stock and a lot of blame at the feet of the New York Knicks as well. Just because you think of what, basketball is today, they've got it figured out a little bit in regards to, yes, the ball movement, the fast breaks, the defense, all of this is important as well. However, Denver, OKC, Houston, they have it so that we can play our system. However, 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Cool. Give the ball to our best player and let him do what he needs to do, because that sometimes needs to be your source of offense. If your source of offense, for all of your possessions is give the ball to your best ISO player and then get out of the way, then of course you're not really going to win. Even if you're going to do that with prime James Harden, it's probably not going to happen, because that's easier to scheme rather than, him still doing that whilst also having a system that's built to, actually win games in regards to getting everybody involved, into actually showing people that your squad is deep enough to be more than an ISO player. So again, I'll say it like I did in the beginning. I don't like the narrative that ISO scoring should be looked down upon and frowned on, when it's still a very, very important part of the game. And obviously we look at the best people, in the game today based on their ability to get the bucket, that nobody else can get. So I don't like the narrative that, Shea is going to get this narrative a lot as he gets on in his career as well. God forbid that OKC don't, aren't the best team in the NBA or a team that's chasing the championship. There might be one year where Shea is going to be like, hey, well, you're going to have to do this all by yourself, Shea. You ain't got nobody else around you. And then these kind of conversations are going to be like, oh, he's just a nice little scorer. He's just a foul baiter. Hey, man, if the organization doesn't help him out, he's going to have to do what he needs to do to win. And if he's giving you 40 a night and, they losing, then, hey, God forbid that's his fault, because he knows how to put the ball in the basket and the rest of his teammates don't. Because I would know he's trying his best to bring everybody else along with him, do what he needs to do as well. I'm just saying, just Stateside. Lazy narrative, and I don't like it.
No, I agree. It just, like I said, it stems on how modern fans look at a game of basketball. Do you know what I mean? Because like if you compare it to the players that they praise and like your Kobe's and like you mentioned D Wade's and all of these guys, Allen Iverson's. How do you think Iverson got the Sixers to the NBA Finals? How do you think he scored what
It wasn't
45?
passing the ball to Eric McKee
That's what I'm
and
trying to
Eric
say. He
Snow and
wasn't
them,
passing the
man.
ball to Dikembe and them like,
Yeah,
bro. He was just putting the
Haji.
ball in the basket. He was getting busy. He's getting busy on the perimeter. So it's just one of those ones. Like when certain people talk about basketball, let's look at how people were doing it back in the day as well, because that always matters. Because they the players back in the day, they get praised. They get praised for how can I word this? The players back in the day got praised for stuff that players now are getting frowned upon. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. 100%. It's
So
and that's a shame. That's a damn shame. I think we need to do a lot better job in regards to praising players for all aspects of what basketball is, especially if it contributes to winning. You know,
that's what I said about the whole James Harden thing last episode. It's like top 10 in scoring and stuff. Like a lot of people are just gonna naturally automatically say, "Oh, by the playoffs and this, that, and the other." Bro, look at what he's done for the game of basketball. The influence that he's got these players doing. Right, even Curry, he even got Curry doing step back threes and these players doing step back three and that play. So it's just like if we really look into it with a positive lens, the influence that these ISO scorers and like how they, as it's gone past down the years and like how they've refined and modified it and made it more accessible, made it more exciting for us to watch as well. You know what I mean? But that's just my take anyway.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And there's gonna be somebody like when we put the video out. This is gonna be a YouTube video, by the way. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the Stateside Report UK YouTube listeners. But there's gonna be somebody potentially in the comments. Oh, ISO scoring is dead. It's not the way that they play basketball anymore. Everybody moves the ball. Everybody passes. Bro, I've seen enough times that Jokic has given the ball for 5 seconds left, and he has to do something, and he does it every single time. And if that's
Facts.
what they need to do to win games, then that's what they're gonna do. So you can't tell me that ISO scoring is dead when literally all the best players in the NBA have to be that in some way, shape, or form in terms of them actually winning games. That's what I'm saying. You
Exactly.
can't just
Not
kill.
everyone's playing 2014 San Antonio basketball.
No,
I
mate.
mean, this is
No.
that's just what it is.
I enjoyed our discussions. They said I'm
Yeah.
not so much of a game per se, but
I,
I
I,
guess
I like these discussions as well. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
man. Yeah, it was a nice
It gets me
conversation.
thinking.
Absolutely, absolutely. This will be thought provoking. I can't even say the word. Thought
Thought
provoking
provoking.
content.
That's the word.
Jesus. Got
That's
there
the
in the
word.
end. Got there in the end. Bloody hell. What are we gonna do? Stateside Umph. I thought now is a good time because we spoke about a Western and an Eastern team. We're just gonna go generally around the NBA. A few stories that have popped up here, there. Unfortunately for me, I'm gonna start with your Oklahoma City Thunder. I am.
Well, the NBA champs.
Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna start with the champions, the ones with the jewelry, you know.
Glorious.
24-2, by far and away the best record in the NBA at the minute. And stateside off is a very easy question. I asked you this already very early on as an overreaction, funny enough, early on in the season, because you started. I can't even remember the round you started on. You started undefeated. I can't remember how long it got until you lost. But
I think it's like 11 and no 8-1 or something.
something like that. And I said, yeah, man, this is going to be another long season. And I have to ask you again now. Are you, because this is the conversation that people are talking about now. It's not just me acting crazy, even though, we spoke about this already. I'm bringing it up now because it's becoming slightly more real. Will OKC break the record for wins in a regular season?
I was confident that we would, until obviously we lost to San Antonio. Then it got me thinking, oh, like what if we end up going on a bad streak of like losses and the doubt creeps in. You know what I mean? When your team wins so much that you as a fan, you're almost programmed to always turn on OKC games and not losing. You know what I mean? Same thing with like Arsenal as well. I mean, you go on a long winning streak and then you get buzzer beaten by Unai Emery and Aston Villa. It stings more. You know what I mean? Those losses sting more because you're not, as a fan, you're not used to losing. But 73-9 is a lot. You know what I mean, that's 73 wins is a lot. Me personally, I don't care for it too much. I mean, there's a lot of people. Obviously, Draymond came out and said that winning, getting that record of 73-9, it took a lot of. Well, it took a couple of years of his career, or whatever you were saying.
Yes, I remember
But
this.
I think this OKC team is a lot deeper. You know what I mean? I don't know if the competition is slightly better now than it was 10 years ago. That is debatable. But this team is deeper. Shea has not played in half of the fourth quarter, so it's like how many minutes is he really being strained? How many minutes is he really having to be out there to get all these wins and points and all of that stuff? Not many. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of adds to it. But I want us to obviously look and try and strive for something bigger. But Shay did mention before we played San Antonio that he doesn't see why we can't go for that record. So if he's saying that he wants to go for the record, then so be it. We're gonna try and go for the record. You know what I mean? It's not easy. It's not
It
easy,
won't
but
be.
it's not easy. But then this OKC team is very, very hard to beat. You know what I mean? I've watched this for so long. It's like every time I watch our losses, I'm like, the team has to shoot at such a historic like clip because we're never gonna beat ourselves. You know what I mean, you're gonna have to be the one to beat us, and you're gonna have to play top basketball to do that. So I just think that there won't be too many nights where teams will do that. You know what I mean, obviously closer to the end of the season, where team like playoff positions are already set, and half of the teams are tanking anyway. We can still a couple more wins from that. So it looks likely right now 24-2, but I'm not too pressed if we don't get the record as long as we're in good position going into the playoffs. That's all I really care about, to be fair. I mean, we're still going to win a lot of games, 60, 65 plus, and we're projected to do so.
Mm.
I don't really care for it, man.
I feel you. I feel you. As big of a hater I am, it's impressive to watch. It is impressive. I give it to you. You know, you lot are playing at such a high level, offensively, defensively as well. More time than not, you've got the game sold up. So I remember, I think on the way to the NBA Cup, you smacked Phoenix like by 40 points or something like that.
48.
I'm like,
Yeah, we beat
what are
them by
you,
50.
what are you supposed to do, bruv? What are you supposed to do with a team like this? I do still maintain my beliefs, and same thing with you. Like that's got to take a lot out of you. Like I remember that Golden State team and what they were doing. Like a lot of them were playing injured, going into the last few games of the season because obviously they were chasing that record. I'm not saying that's going to be the situation that you lot will find yourselves in because I do agree. I think your team's a little bit deeper in regards to compared to that. Not OKC, that Golden
Go to
State.
state.
Yes, but you have bigger aspirations. You have bigger goals, evidently. At the same time, you have the roster that's capable of, shooing in, fitting in, and kind of rotating, I guess, in a way, the minutes, resting your star players while doing that as well to still chase that. So what Shay said, he's not wrong. What you're saying is not wrong. I just don't think it's very smart to, have that as a goal per se. Like leave that as a, if somebody else wants to get that, then sure. If you so happen to get that because you're that good and it's obvious to everybody watching, then what can we really say? That
Exactly.
that turns into a conversation of is this potentially, and I might put this out to the question to people, could this potentially be one of the best teams that we've ever seen?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be a priority, but if we're just good enough to do it, why not? You know what I mean? So it's part of history. Who doesn't want to be part of history? I do want to ask you this question though, because every time OKC play, every time we play in these high stake games and playoff series and stuff, I don't know if it's just people hating, but what do you think about OKC's defense? Do you think we just foul a lot? Do you think we're not that great of a defensive team that we get away with a lot? Like, what do you think? Because my stance on this whole thing is we're a great defensive team, but then also we do hand check, we do foul, but it's like someone made this analogy with OKC and OKC defense, and it makes so much sense. It's like if someone is driving at 90 miles an hour in a 55 zone, if one person is doing it, the police will start chasing you, will get you. But if everyone is driving at 90 mile an hour in a 55 zone, who's the police going to chase? Everyone is driving at that speed. So if we're playing high intensity defense, you're hand checking a little bit. I mean, you're pulling, you're dragging a little bit. You're slapping the hand, the wrist, bro. Even Iman Shumpert said you almost desensitize the ref's eyes to like, oh, this is how the game is going to be played. So it's like, even though we will get away with a bit, we still play high level defense. But what do you think? Do you think we get away with too much and it kind of masks how bad our defense is? I don't know.
No. I don't think you can say that, and I don't think that's fair. Just because you think of the historic defenses or the best defenses of all time, whatever you want to say, whether you want to say it's the the '96 Bulls, the
Bad boy
2000s Pistons,
Pistons.
the bad boy Pistons, the Pistons that won the championship in '04. I watched a Hoop Genius podcast episode, and I had Darvin Ham, and he was on that championship winning team with the Pistons, and he said, "Were we the best defensive team in the league? Yes. However, our rule is we will foul on every possession because they can't call it all the time." So because of that, and because of that is also the nature of every good defensive team, there's always going to be some screws loose. There's always going to be a little bits that are maybe deemable as unfair, maybe deemable as you're getting away with a lot. Hey man, that's how you play physical defense. That's how you play good basketball. The Golden State Warriors teams, classic defensive teams as well. You think Draymond wasn't doing everything it takes to get a stop and winning defensive
He's
players
still
of the
doing
league?
that now.
Still doing it now, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think you can say with a straight face that this team is getting away with some sort of murder, because they're not. Because if you're saying that, then so has every single defensive team, all-time defensive team that you want to throw in the conversation. They've done the exact same thing as well. And if they've done the exact same thing, then what? Nobody's an historic defense? Nobody's a good defensive team? I'm sorry that you can't play good defense, or clean defense, I should say, every possession down. I'm very sorry to say that's not possible. And if there's been a team that has done that successfully, I implore you to show me. Implore you. You guys have a very, very specific defensive team, defensive scheme, and the way you want to play defense is won you a championship. Why the hell would you deviate it for just because some people are unhappy about it?
That's what I'm saying.
My opinion on it.
Just the pace and the space and the high level skill from everyone. Bigs are shooting three, 7'5". Wemby's shooting logo three. Do you know how difficult it is to play defense nowadays?
By the way, those historic teams that I was talking about from the '90s and the mid 2000s, you think they're checking any of these teams now? We're talking about the Washington Wizards early on in the show. You think some of them '90s teams can even keep up with them guys and their young cats?
No,
They can't.
no.
The Washington Wizards of today would be the best offense in the mid 2000s, in the 1990s, in the 1980s. They'd be the best.
That's what I'm saying.
So there's nothing wrong with a bit of extra physicality, because I'm afraid that's what's needed in this day and age of basketball. It's just as simple as that.
But I feel like you gotta earn it as well. Do you know what I mean? Because if you play high level defense, the ref will let you have a bit. Do you know what I mean? They'll let you play a little bit more physical. You saw that in the Nuggets Timberwolves series 2 years ago.
Yes.
So it's one of those ones. I don't know if it's just a thing of every time you watch OKC games, just a low level of jeopardy. So a lot of people start hating, because then it takes me back to 2016 when I was watching Golden State. Did I really appreciate him as much as maybe I should have? No. You know what I mean? Because they were winning so much, and every time they play an Oracle, they just don't lose. So it's like maybe now the coin is flipped. My team is dominating the league, and obviously now I'm like, why are people not giving my team the flowers that I feel like we deserve? If you're doing so well, teams are gonna hate.
Yeah, exactly. You have to remember this now. When you're the best team, and it's like quite clearly we can't scheme against them offensively, defensively. There's not a lot that we can do. Where's the next place that we can challenge these guys? Yeah,
Exactly.
Ludor, I'm afraid you're fouling a little bit too much. I'm afraid you're a little bit too handsy. Now, potentially, he's going to be like, oh, refs are watching me a little bit. I need to relax. I need to take my foot off the gas just a tad, Oh, J-Dub, you're supposed to be the second option, right? Well, what's going on here? Well, J-Dub, then maybe he's shooting a little bit too much. Maybe the shot selection starts to get a little iffy, Shay, you just drive into the hole too much. You get your foul bait, all this. Well, maybe the rest are like, I'm going to let this one go a little bit. And now Shay's like, why am I not getting the fouls I normally get? You got to play with you lot's emotions.
The psyche,
yes, because that's really the only thing that's left to try and, attack. They did it with the Golden State teams. They did it with, whoever you think is the best team. It's been done, So just expect these kind of conversations moving forwards. If you lot, pick up poor results here and there, or you're not playing what people want to see in terms of like what aesthetically pleasing basketball is, this is what's going to happen now, brother. Welcome to the
100%, 100%. But yeah, I mean that was well put. That was well put. I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
I know ball sometimes, just sometimes. A few more bits and bobs that I wanted to get out on the open as well. 76ers, where are they at the minute in the NBA standings? Let me just.
They're probably like 8th or something.
Yeah, they are 6th, 14 and 11 in the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid, he's been pretty good. as of
Balling out
recently.
the other day.
Yeah,
Him and Paul George.
as of recently, been doing all right. They're starting to put it together a little bit. These guys that were called washed at the beginning of the season still are,
Right.
but piecing it together. They're trying to find their way in the offense and help the team to some wins. They're not who I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk to you about Jared McCain. I saw a clip on social media that said that usually young guards, and they use Jared McCain in this very specific example, their first few years in the league, especially if they're playing with another high level guard, this is not the Jared McCain that we should hopefully get used to as projection should go, in regards to he's talented enough to, well, the clip said anyway, he's talented enough to break out in the way that Maxey did. For example, once James Harden left and he was the de facto, you the guard on this team that's going to be handling the ball, now you're an all-star. He basically said that Jared McCain has the potential to be doing that, but he's going to be having to do that either on another team or Maxey's going to have to go, and that'll be a few years from now. Maybe Maxey's a sixth for life. I don't know what the situation is over there with them. However, Stateside Humph, I did want to ask you, is the person in that clip, I can't remember who it was and I can't remember where I found it. I'll try to find it now. But are they cooking in regards to the potential that Jared McCain might have? Is he going to be more than just a nice little piece for the Sixers? Is there an all-star potentially in the making? Somewhere in there, Jared McCain.
I mean, possibly. I mean, you can't. It's very hard to tell. I like his game though. I mean, very, very talented. I mean, great guard, great base, shoots the ball well. I think he was playing some of his best basketball of his career, of his young career, and then obviously you got that ACL, so that was disappointing. Obviously, came into the season with this thumb surgery thing, so then that kind of stalled that a bit. But then obviously with that ACL injury, then followed the Sixers going for VJ Etchcombe as well. So it kind of like three guards rarely ever works. You even seen with San Antonio, they're saying you got to get rid of one, which obviously is De'Aaron Fox in this case. You can't have three guards; it just never happened. Remember back in, I want to say 2016 ish with Phoenix Suns when they had Goran Dragic and they had Bledsoe.
2015. Yep, I remember this.
Yeah, and I forgot whichever other guard.
Tragic, but Isaiah Thomas,
Bledsoe.
Eric
And
Bledsoe.
yes, exactly. So they had all three of them. It's like it gets to a point you're gonna have to let go of one, maybe two. Do you know what I mean? But more so in this case with the Sixers, come back to the Sixers, McCain looks like the odd one out. Do you know what I mean? Just with how everything just fallen. Maxey's gonna stay there. He's the best player. Do you know what I mean? I don't care what Embiid and Paul George and them lot are doing. Do you know what I mean? They passed it. Maxey's the best player when he's fit. I mean, obviously, like I said, you brought in Edgecombe. It's kind of like a two-man tandem sort of thing. McCain, he will have to try and find another team. You know what I mean, if he really wants to play, if he wants to maximize his potential, and for us to actually see what he's made of, he will need to go. Which team? That's a completely different conversation. But I'd love to see him have his own team and make his mistakes and try and find himself as a player, see what he's good at, see what he's not good at, and see if he is a number one option, number two option, what kind of guard will he be in in this league. But from what he showed us so far, there's a lot of promise there. So you hope obviously there's no more significant injuries because we obviously want to see him on the court. But I don't see him being a six. I don't see him being a sixer for that long when you've got Embiid, when you've got Edgecombe and Maxey there.
You'd like to think as well the Sixers side can be a very aggressive franchise when they see a window of opportunity. Maybe there's a big player out there, somebody that can help their team, especially if they're trying to maximize what Maxey, especially Embiid as well. They're still trying to get him a ring now. They'd like to think that he will be a Sixer for life and he can win them some sort of jewelry. So if Jared McCain is a throw-in to sweeten a deal to get in a really, really good player that's going to fit what they're trying to do over there, Jared McCain will be moved, no questions asked, because he has a lot of potential still that's untapped and will remain untapped, just like you said, if he continues to, I guess, be Maxey's understudy. VJ Edgecombe looks like he's going to be the starting two guard or three, whatever you want to say, moving forwards. So if Jared McCain wants to be any sort of, all-star, anything close to that, then that's going to be on another team, But that depends on if you have the potential or if you believe he has the potential to be that. Some people might just think, oh, yeah, he's just going to be a nice little role player. Philly should just probably keep him. If you think he's going to be more than that, though, then yeah, definitely should be looking to move to a new team.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think you got to move to a new team because that talent like that can't be playing limited minutes because Edgecombe and Maxi, they are very talented. They are going to play a lot of minutes. So I just don't see how he's going to get significant minutes, especially, when you've got one ball as well, adding in an Embiid, adding in a Paul George, especially if they're now starting to make shots as well. It's a bit of a sticky one, you know.
All I'm saying is Giannis is there. If they threw in Embiid, McCain, and a few others, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If he could be a nice little sweetener for a deal for somebody, he might put somebody over the top to get a big player. And they're doing Philly.
Yeah.
They love a trade over there, A few more conversations that I wanted to have, or one more at least. And it's regards to the Charlotte Hornets. I've spoken about them a lot in regards to the start of the season. And this is a report from our friends at Bleacher Report. We'll get onto them in our next game very shortly. But they have reported that Con Knuppel, the rookie, is now considered the face of the franchise, the person that they're going to be building things.
Free the nipple, man.
I don't know what's wrong with you. I just don't. These nipples are fine.
I'm so sorry. You know when you think of something.
What a spooky
I
fellow
did
you
not
are.
fight it at all.
Right, yeah,
I'm so sorry.
no, bloody hell! I didn't even see it coming. I didn't see it coming. Leave these nipples where they are. Thanks very much.
Oh god. Sorry, you were saying.
We went from a ball to a nipple. It's just what happens, matey, in life.
Hey, sorry, you were saying.
Oh man, I'm almost lost my train of thought, but I'm a professional. I know where I am. Con man is now allegedly the face.
Some con man say his name.
No, there's no. That man over there that could shoot the ball, white fella over there, is now allegedly the face of the Charlotte Hornets. Could potentially be they could be looking to move LaMelo Ball. However, the question I don't have for you is, right move, is LaMelo gone? We've spoken about this a lot. Stateside down. I have a new question for you, a new one. Can your face of the franchise be a shooter? Out and out. Because I'd like to think that that's what, at least early on in his career.
I mean, look at Steph.
No, but he has ball handling ability, playmaking ability. This is not, like making Clay the face of the franchise. That's more of a shooter in my eyes.
Right.
Of course, he's a shooter, but Steph can do a lot more and is more of a well-rounded player. But at least to start his career, Con Knuppel, to me at least, is just a shooter. Can that be the face of your franchise in 2025?
I mean, he can, but then if you really want to look into Con Knuppel's game, he's an all-rounder. You know what I mean? His game is very mature. He can do a little bit of everything. He plays above his ears as well. That's why I feel like I can confidently say that you can make him the face of a franchise like a Charlotte Hornet. Do you know what I mean? When they went to, I think they played in, I forgot where it was, but they played in his hometown. He brought all his teammates to his house. You know what I mean? They all had, food and all of that stuff. Like, he hosted his whole team. Kind of, I don't want to drag it on and say like, this shows like a sign of a leader or whatever, but that's kind of, it's kind of like a soft launching sort of like, this is my team now sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, it's still his rookie year. I don't want to put too much pressure on him in that sense, but he is a player that you can build your franchise around, I'd say. I mean, I like his game a lot. I like how he carries himself. I like how he speaks in interviews. And like I said, his game is way more steady than a LaMelo. Do you know what I mean? A LaMelo is kind of like a big punt. You're just hoping like it lands, like it sticks. But it just looks like it never will with LaMelo, and that's fine. So I don't blame the Hornets for trying to pivot elsewhere to try and make Con Knuppel the face of their franchise, because I think they need one. They need one to then start setting a culture, start setting an image of what the Charlotte Hornets are meant to be and the brand of basketball that they're meant to play.
Fair enough. I mean, the last real, like, quote-unquote shooters that I can remember being given the keys to a franchise are people like, you're thinking of Reggie Millers, you're thinking of Ray Allen when he was with like Milwaukee and the Seattle Supersonics. um, Michael Redd as well when he was with Milwaukee. But it doesn't happen a lot. It really doesn't, because I'd like to think that you're very limited in regards to where you can go unless you have Reggie Miller, lying there in the waiting. And maybe Konkanupo could be that. Maybe he could be. He's showing very good flashes in regards to what his rookie season has been so far. But making a shooter the face of the franchise, which I guess maybe I need to watch him more. But ooh, risque, especially with what LaMelo has been for Charlotte, especially for what he has been, in the NBA and how he carries himself. That to me screams a little bit more the face of a franchise.
I
Whereas
mean, that's more risk. That's more risky if you want to look at that like that.
you think so?
Lamelo being the face of your franchise, yeah, because he's rarely ever on the court. You know what I mean? He made an All-Star team once, but his game doesn't really scream maturity. He doesn't really scream security. It doesn't scream consistency, and it might not fully be his fault, but it's like Lamelo just hasn't played enough, and he hasn't shown enough promise to say that I can be the face of this franchise. I mean, they drafted me third overall. I can steer the ship and take this Hornets team that's lost a lot to the next level. He hasn't done that much since he came to the league in 2020. So, like I said, I'm just not. I'm okay with the Hornets looking elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Because I can ask you this question: like, what's Charlotte got to lose? Do you know what I mean? Pivoting towards Canupo because they've lost a lot. Do you know what I mean? So why not try the Canupo route and see if it works? And really and truly, you can kind of pair them both together. You can say we're gonna try and build it off of both Canupo and Lamelo, and obviously see where it goes. If you feel like Canupo's showing more of a promise, more consistency in that sense, you make that natural transition.
Yeah, I'm not angry. I was thinking like, how old is Lamelo? He's actually only 24, which is crazy to say. He was brought into the NBA
Feels like he's
very
been
young.
around for a long time, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I thought maybe the timelines would clash a little bit, but no, it's not the worst idea per se to put them together. But just with all the reports and all the, I guess, quote unquote baggage that it seems like Lamelo has in regards to him being a Charlotte Hornet trying to take them somewhere. I'm not angry at them pivoting because if you're taking the face of the franchise away from me, then that would signify to me that just don't want me here no more. You don't believe in what I can do here no more. So let's see in regards to what happens with Charlotte because it's very, it's not as interesting as what the top teams are doing, but in terms of what the bottom teams in the NBA are doing, it's very interesting. It's very interesting in regards to what they could be
Of course.
people at the
I
face.
always like when we talk about the bad teams as well. Do you know what I mean?
I think you have to. You have to.
Yeah.
The same thing in football as well. It's I'd like to know what the hell is going on with Wolves. We almost, I'd like to know when they're going to get their first win of the season.
Bro, I don't know how they've got on so bad so quickly.
Bruh, they've been scraping for a long time. By the way, a long time. So this
Nearly
is
got a cheeky little punt on the carpet. Absolutely not.
bloody hell. So it's gonna be they down this year. There's no question in my mind that they gone, but they've avoided the drop for a long time. Not this year, I'm afraid. Stateside time to round off today's episode. Shall we play one more game?
Let's play one more game and let's do it.
Be a trade machine. Because it seems like only me and you want to make trades. Nobody in the league they're scared
That's
to
what I'm
make some
saying.
trades at the moment. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on in the league, but you know the drill at this point. I'm going to throw you some trades brought to you by our friends at Bleacher Report. Not a sponsor. Wish they were. Maybe one day, but not now. I'm going to give you some trade scenarios, and you just have to tell me if you were the GM for said franchise, would you make those moves? Can you do that for me? Can you do that for the people?
Let's do it.
Now, you know me, I've got to weed all my Sacramento Kings in it somehow, some way. We are at the center of a lot of trade speculation at the minute. And I want to throw you this trade right here. If you were the GM for the Milwaukee Bucks, would you trade Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, Gary Harris, Cole Anthony, and a 2031 first round pick for Zach LaVine and Keon Ellis?
I would. Well, I mean, considering Giannis is still in Milwaukee, I would. Because then you need that second scorer. You know what I mean? Giannis has needed that second scorer since Chris Middleton left. So if you're bringing in Keon Ellis, that obviously can give you good point of attack defense, but then Zach LaVine as well can give you that microwave scoring. And to be fair, he can give you consistent scoring if you up his production, if you up his level of responsibility. Do you know what I mean? Especially playing next to a player like Giannis. I don't see why he doesn't make that jump and give you that consistent 23 to 25 points a night. You know what I mean, which is going to be very very valuable to the Bucks winning games.
Fair enough. Next tradie. Next trade. If you're the GM for the Phoenix Suns, would you trade Jalen Green for Zion Williamson? Straight up.
No, I mean, bro, trading for Zion just isn't an attractive prospect anymore. You know, it just isn't. I mean, this is now what two injury prone players. I mean, Jalen Green has been injured for most of it. I think back to back, same hamstring as well. And then Zion is just, he's just Zion. Like I said, it's just not an attractive trade offer at this stage of his career. It's just not. So no, thank you.
That's a shame. I'd like to think, a bit of Zion with Phoenix, they're doing well. They can necessarily, manage his injury status at the minute. Jalen Green's not the healthiest.
He's not. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's like trading Jalen Green for someone that possibly might be worse in terms of the injury front, and then of course, issue, bro. I've lost it with Zion, man. Do you know what I mean? Whatever I had to start the season, I lost it, man. Do you know what I mean?
Fair man. It's okay. It's okay. I've got a couple more trades for you here, buddy. A couple more trades.
Mm.
If you're the GM for the if you're the GM for the Indiana Pacers, would you trade Jarvis Walker, Ben Shepherd, and a 2027 second round pick for Daniel Gafford?
Yes, I am because you need the athletic big. You know what I mean for the Pacers. Do you know what I mean? And having Halliburton come back as well, I feel like his style of play, how quick they play, is just gonna benefit not only the team but Gafford as well with his style of play. You know what I mean, you saw his relationship with Luca, playing him next to a Halliburton as well. I don't see how that don't work. You're not giving up too much as well in terms of Jarvis Walker and Shepard.
They need a big man as well, so I'd like to think,
Facts.
you can do something there. I've got two more. These are quite tasty. I like to think. Hopefully, they make you think. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But
Mm.
if you were the GM for the Boston Celtics, would you trade Peyton Pritchard for Tari Eason, Jayshawn Tate, and a 2029 first round pick?
Nah, that's my sixth man of the year, man. Do you know what I mean? He's been with us through a lot. Won us a champion. Well, was there when we won a championship as well. I'm not trading for Tyrese, and I know what Tyrese gives you defensively. Blows too hot and cold from the three. I trust Peyton Pritchard from the three. Trust him more with playmaking. Pesky defender as well, can hold his own. I'm not making that trade. No chance.
Two more. Two more. If you were the GM for the Toronto Raptors, would you trade RJ Barrett, Ochai Agbaji, Jamal Sheed, and a 2026 first round pick for James Harden?
Uh, yeah. You know what? Oh, you know what? Why not?
Fine.
Why not? Why not, man? Why the hell not? I mean, like Harden's give you consistent scoring. The guy's never missed a playoff since he's been in the league. So yeah, man, let's make that mid-season trade so you know that you're guaranteed to make the playoffs. Harden as well has done the best he can for the Clippers. Do you know what I mean, leave that situation before it gets too ugly. Do you know what I mean? I don't see why not.
Yeah, they got some good. Toronto is a good party city as well. I know that's very important for James Harden to be
Right,
around that scene. I get it.
right.
But I've got one more trade for you, matey, so we can wrap up today's episode of CSR Report UK.
Mm,
If you were the GM for the Los Angeles Lakers, we got to throw a Lakers one in there.
obviously,
Would you trade Dalton Connect, Maxi Kleber, and the 2031 first round pick for Herb Jones?
yes, you do, 100%. Because the Lakers, more than any other team, needs a point of attack defender. I mean, Herb Jones isn't really the great. He's not the best 3-point shooter, but he's all right there. But in terms of defense, helping out Luka, running the floor, doing all the dirty work for then obviously LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves to get you your buckets. I don't see why not. Do you know what I mean? He erases a lot of mistakes that inevitably the Lucas and the Austin Reeves and LeBrons are gonna make at the perimeter as well. So if you bring someone like that in, having Marcus Smart there, having a few, Rui and all of those other guys, I think that increases the level of the Lakers a lot more. Bringing in a player like Herb Jones, and again, you're not losing too much, or you're not giving up too much to get him. So yeah, I'll make that trade for sure.
Yeah, Dalton connects. I do like a little bit of Dalton sometimes, but it's just not consistent enough. Doesn't get a lot of run anyway as it is, but just not consistent enough. New scene,
Nah,
new environment. I think that's probably what he needs. Herb
exactly.
Jones been ready to be competing at championship level. I've been waiting for a team to trade for, Herb Jones. And this year seems like it might be the year, So let's see, as I always say, when it comes to Herb Jones, the Lakers, another team. We might see his contract is very tradable contract.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Caruso when he was putting up all these first team, all defenses in
Yes,
Chicago.
the
You know what I mean, it
Bulls.
wasn't really going anywhere.
Mhm.
He just needed a situation to go to a contending team. So then you really see his value. With a team with a higher ceiling. So
Yes, naturally, that's what
kind of how
happens
I
as
see it.
well. When you're looked at as this kind of defensive guy as well, and especially when you play in a big market, then that's when you get, especially looked at for these big awards as well. Marcus Smart for
100%.
the year.
Lake attacks
Yeah,
is a real
Marcus
thing.
Smart, Celtics tax. I'm not saying Marcus Smart wasn't a good defender now, but defensive player of the year, okay,
Have a day
playing in the big
off.
market will do that to you.
That's what I'm saying.
Playing in the big market will do that to you. Shout out to
Facts.
Marcus Smart, man.
Yeah, man.
He's on the Lakers doing something. I don't know if he's hooping or not, but he's doing something.
Bro, dropped 8 threes the other night against Phoenix.
That will
I mean,
do
they still
me.
lost, but still.
But that will still do me. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Come to the end of Stateside Report UK today. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, comment, rate, subscribe, all that jazzy stuff. Me and Stateside Humph back again next week.
It won't be same time next week, but it'll be earlier next week.
Oh yeah. You'll be
Yeah,
early.
it'll be earlier next week, but we'll be here whether rain, sleet, or snow. We'll be here. Obviously, when is Christmas? By the way,
Christmas is coming.
it's next Thursday, right?
It's coming. Yeah.
So is it too early to wish our listeners a happy Merry Christmas? Good
Yeah,
God.
I mean, you can, but we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that in the next episode. We'll do that then.
Exactly.
Do it
But hey,
then.
we'll see you lot. We'll see you lot next week. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Christmas
Have a
games are
happy
looking good as
holidays.
well. Yeah, Christmas games are looking alright as well.
Of course. Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Christmas fixtures, good. We play the Spurs one more time before Christmas Day, so I'm looking forward to it. This little rivalry that's brewing. So
Let's see if
we'll
Wemby
see what
punches
that's
Chet
saying.
right in the schnoz.
Uh,
Until then, lads, next week we'll see you then. Take it easy.
say less in a bit, boys and girls.
Don't forget the ladies now, they're very important to our fan base.
Facts.